KinitoPET is a dangerous game. This is the face of evil. And this isn't really convincing you, is it? Okay, never mind. Let's just start from the beginning. Developed by Troy N as their first released indie game, KinitoPET is a meta-horror game that's been making the rounds on YouTube lately. Released on January 9, 2024, it revolves around Kinito, a little desktop axolotl with a familiar voice.
I'm KinitoPET. However, you can just call me Kinito.
KinitoPET is the next step in a series of technological marvels produced by the Kinito Leisure and Entertainment Company, and it aims to learn and adapt to your actions and reactions. You're the newest customer of KLEC, and it's time to check out your new product! And while you attempt to do so, you might begin to realize you're in for a bit more than advertised. This is an interesting and genuinely really cool horror experience that I just wrapped up playing the other day. Yo, it's Carter Bandman! So I figured it'd make for a great first try at this video essay thing, don't you think? KinitoPET has a good thing going, but it's got its flaws just like any other game. So let's give this thing an in-depth look and perhaps a bit of critique. I'm Glamrock Dusky, and this is KinitoPET. This video will reveal just about everything found regarding KinitoPET's story so far. I highly recommend playing the game yourself before watching. You'll boot into KinitoPET expecting something. A window, maybe. A logo, we get none of that. Only a solitary button present on your desktop. Yeah, this is one of those games that wants you to capture your entire desktop to really get the most out of it. So you'll just have to deal with mine and others' strange taste in video games if you want some game capture. Okay, and here we are in a lovely aesthetic that looks to be a fusion of Windows 2000 and XP. KinitoPET doesn't really start off telling you what to do, so it's time to click around a bit and oh, that's my real folder! There is a reason this game has a streamer mode. That there is one of the tamer things this game does in relation to revealing potentially sensitive information, but that's not important right now, so welcome to the internet. Have a look around. Anything that brain of yours can think of can be found. Wait, hey! Ah, there you are. This is the fabled KinitoPET, which we are forced to download onto our fragile, vulnerable old computer to let it do God knows what to our internals. But what is life without living on the edge? This thing hatches from his egg and immediately begins asking for personal information, which we give to him as that is the smart thing to do. And after forking over mommy's credit card to the little monster, he tells us a bit of information about himself. He's Kinito, he's smart, he's definitely not murderous, etc, etc. Hey, did you know you're named after nausea pills? We are then told a story that Kinito wrote himself. Kinito receives the package and opens it. Inside is a computer, which allegedly has terrible cable management. He turns it on. Using it, Kinito studies as much as possible, but he realizes he has no one to share what he's learned with. So he goes looking and comes across you. Now, I'm pretty sure this story has some more connotations to it, but we can't get into that yet. We need to spend a bit more time with our friend first, and what better way to do that than playing a game with him and his crew? We are introduced to Kinito and crew's web world to play some old school flash games. Kinito even makes our little guy our favorite color! Anyway, our first task is to check up on Sam the Sea Anemone and his chronic depression house. Hey man, how many old cups you got? I've got 5. Sam wants our help cleaning and decorating his house. This is where things start to go bad. After scrubbing the floor, we get to flex our interior designer skills with the option to pick a questionable furniture item. And if we try to use it to decorate, it dirties the floor I just cleaned and... Oh, sick! We're all done! Suck it, Ty Pennington!
Oh, so good, Michael!
Let's head over to the house of Jade the jellyfish now, who needs help in her toy factory. Kinito's taking a nap, so we can fall into a comfortable rhythm of placing
ethical building materials
onto the workspace to make the items Jade needs until we get some mail. Oh, welcome back to the land of the living.
We are in the middle of a really fun game here. There really isn't a need to be...
Okay, fine, I get it. I guess I will check out this awesome meat pile. Oh. Okay, Jade's done. Yay! Time to go help the little cretin himself now. Meeting him in his treehouse. Why does a sea creature need a ladder to get up? Just swim, idiot. We are invited to a game of hide and seek. The rules are simple.
You must hide.
Okay, so fun fact, this sequence actually didn't work normally for me when I played first. It just crashed when I walked into the hallway. Whoops, seems to be a common bug, as it also happened to 8-Bit Ryan.
That's what we should do. Wait!
Maybe it's intentional, but regardless, it usually goes a little something like this. You're alone in the maze. You can hear something in there with you. You'll wander around, but there's no exit and no progress to be made, no matter what you come across. Try as you might, there's no preventing whatever's in there from getting closer and closer. Until a file is dropped in your desktop
Founded
folder
by the
and
Kinito
automatically
brothers
plays.
in the early 70s, the Kinito Leisure and Entertainment Company has been grounded in its manufacturing of lovable characters. From its start in plush collectibles to its technological advancements in the Kinito Companion, the Kinito Company prides itself on innovation. And now, that's why today, we are excited to announce the next move into the modern era with KinitoPET, the virtual desktop assistant. So join the Kinito family today and unlock the power of KinitoPET. Visit our website or call now to bring the future right into your home. Kinito Leisure and Entertainment Company, innovating for a better tomorrow.
Let me just turn that down a little bit. Can I just say that was so fucking cool? Okay, critique 1. I have a few things to say. I'll probably insert my thoughts every time the game closes itself. Seems like a good stopping point. This beginning section of KinitoPET may have been a little generic, but it serves as an interesting way to subvert expectations. With this segment, the game sets itself up to be a sort of Coronation Day or Sonic.exe sort of kids game gone wrong thing. I personally think that this works well to the game's advantage, because it makes later scares more surprising when they don't follow the same rules. However, this segment of the game is not very stable. It's very easily affected by later parts of the game if you've already completed it, meaning that trying to replay it later ends in some glitches because the game doesn't correctly clean its own slate. It is also very easy to miss the scares this segment tries to present. If you don't click the heart in the Jade minigame, it won't reappear, which is kind of a nitpick, but I think that her scare is one of the cooler ones, so it kinda sucks to see people miss it. Lastly, the hide and seek segment is the least stable out of everything, because in about 1 of 3 playthroughs I see people do, myself included, the game will often just crash here, skipping the maze and video file portion of the game completely, which is a real shame. However, most of these aren't game design issues and can definitely be fixed with a patch, so I'm not holding this against a developer who's never done this sort of thing before. I couldn't do this sort of thing. The game is still very impressive as it is. Back to where we were. Now that we're out of the water, because they're fish, get it, we can check out that email. Scanning the QR code present gives us a website with a picture of a keyboard. The keyboard itself hasn't got any secrets, but it itself is a hint towards the content of the email being decodable with a keyboard shift cipher, revealing the following message. In the realm of shadows, trapped in endless time, a soul enshrouded, a spirit's mournful chime. The seeker, bound in ethereal woe, a dance with creation, yet nowhere to go. Limbo's realm, a cycle without an end. Condemned, the brain will never mend. Trapped in the machine's web, forever it seems. A digital specter, lost amidst the streams. We also receive an article in another email after our game with Kinito, detailing an interview between the Tech Talk talent and Sonny Chamberlain, the creator of Kinito's line of Tamagotchi-like toys and the new React-Respond algorithm, meant to power a toy that can interact with you and simulate intelligence without actually being so. It's also stated that Sonny is now beginning development on an algorithm that can continue to learn forever as technology evolves. Maybe you can see where this is going. Speaking of learning, we need to go get our little buddy back to continue the game, so we do. Upon arrival this time, Kinito of course pretends he did not just try to unalive us and realizes that we still don't know each other that well. To fix this, he proposes some questions and activities to remedy that problem via the Best Friends Analysis Hub. Included are basic questions such as those about your day, your experience with Kinito himself,
Oh, boo-hoo.
and the name of your best friend. Of course, I answered that my best friend is Kinito! Yeah, you like that, don't you, you little freak? Okay, now it's time for my strong suit, drawing. I will make some masterpieces today, including what Kinito seems to interpret as a penis. Ah yes, this makes me very sad. Okay, now we've got
Picture of the
to...
person standing behind you.
Ah! I'm just kidding, this is what actually happens.
R? It says R. Are you really? Humble boy?
Coolest scare in the game, in my opinion. Time for more questions. Let's build an imaginary world. Casual questions, no strings attached, definitely won't come up later. Finish those, and it's time for Kinito to ask some questions of his own. That being, questions no stranger should ever ask you. But Kinito's no stranger. You wouldn't be recording a stranger, would you? Nah. Say cheese.
There you are.
Welcome to Feedback Hub After Hours, where you answer all the spooky questions. Are you alone on Valentine's Day? Are we playing a game? Do you believe there is an afterlife? What's your biggest fear? My biggest fear is Freddy 5.
Kid in the Freddy 5 animatronic.
Why aren't you subscribed yet? All that fun stuff. Also, you get to kill one of your Steam friends. I did not kill the cute girl. This time. How many thoughts have I had?
One.
Would I know if I was no longer alive? Who knows, man? Are you scared of the dark?
Let's find out.
Ah, I am stuck awake tonight. Kept awake by the singular thought in my head. It's peaceful almost, serene without your interference. But call me crazy, is he looking cuter than usual? Something interesting, and I'll ramble to pass the time here, is that Kinito actually takes on the appearance of a leucistic axolotl during this scene. A leucistic animal can also be referred to as partially albino, in that it lacks some but not all of its pigmentation. Leucistic animals can often have different eyes than their normal variants, as seen here with a comparison. That means virtually nothing within the scope of the game and only serves to make Kinito look creepier, but I will take any opportunity to talk about silly science things. Speaking of Kinito, I wish you'd quit closing yourself. I'm lazy and clicking takes minimal effort. Critique time again! This section has better scares than the first in my opinion and does a good job at throwing you off by making you think, oh, he asked me a spooky question before, so he'll do it again, right? And then he doesn't. Then he does it when you're drawing instead, and then does that cool writing your name shit? Never seen a game do that, so bravo. However, I think that this section feels a bit more like a scare showcase than a really thorough explained experience, I guess. It feels like we're playing a game and then we take a break to look at a spooky thing and then we go back to our game and then the game shows us another unrelated spooky thing and so on and so forth. Kind of like randomly booting up Slenderman in the middle of a session of Neopets. The whole Kinito in the real world thing fits in even less because I have no idea where it ties into the story. Is it implying this thing can somehow manifest in a physical body? Who knows, because this never comes up again. The use of your Steam friends is interesting, but also comes off as a bit random. But here, I think the game is trying to tell a story about not trusting everyone who says they're your friend, which is interesting but could maybe be explained a little better, because on surface level it just comes off as just doing that because it can. Anyway, that's enough on that for now. Let's boot into Kinito again. For all our troubles, the little guy gives us free membership to his friendship club. Who knows how valuable this is without a listed price, but who cares? Look at all this awesome stuff we can get! The Kinito Friendship Club grants Kinito 2 more allocated server space, more calculations per minute,
The ability to generate its own code.
registration so Kinito never forgets you, and much, much more. All this for the low, low price of everything you should never give to a stranger online.
I found you, faker.
Especially if that stranger knows what your address is already. Is that what happened to my DoorDash yesterday? Add another price to that, we've got to give him system access using our real command prompt. Just type in the handy dandy grant KinitoPET.exe system.access to make all our dreams come true.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We are going to have so much fun together. Everlasting fun. Now, I am just going to run a reset, so the changes can take place.
Okay, time to reboot for the millionth time. Kinito comes back and informs us that he's been busy, immediately starting to compile something that he somehow managed to build for us in about 1 minute while we weren't looking. During this compilation, he rids us of a few distractions. Soon enough, though, it's done, so enough worrying about that, it's time to have an adventure! Welcome to Autism's World! Yeah, so maybe I didn't use a very serious name when I started this up, this being a very empty world with nothing in it bar a tree or two, which our little friend notices after a bit and proceeds to send us off on a train to a vastly more interesting brand of autism, Autism Land. We've got fun stuff here like a carousel, mole busting, duck shooting, and a non-Euclidean Ferris wheel, but it all pales compared to our next stop, the roller coaster, where Kinito admits this isn't the main draw of his creation, dropping us into yet another new place. This place resembles our ideal living environment that we informed Kinito of earlier. Pretty sick. But there's one more surprise. Kinito instructs us to stand on a red X so we can't see his present while he gets it ready. And he means that. He will actually turn off your monitor so there's no way you're peeking. Turns out he's built us a house. Heading on in, we're greeted with all the memories we've made with our buddies so far, as well as an assortment of our favorite things, such as our friends, our paintings, our favorite food, and our ideal pet. It's an inside joke, you wouldn't get it.
Yeah, I know, so I've heard.
We can also click on the fountain in here. And after all that, it disappears. Heading back to the house, we can grab this ladder to access the attic upstairs, which has us finding the toys we made for Jade before, as well as a key. This key goes to a door downstairs alongside another key we can pick up on our way back downstairs, tucked in a room full of boxes. The two locked doors downstairs reveal more of our favorite things. Room A contains the room we decorated for Sam way earlier, in all its classy glory, and Room B contains a computer with our favorite game loaded up. You know I love me some egg. On the shelves are even more of our favorite games. Mind you, these are actually games from my recently played Steam library, but before we start gaming, we should probably go touch grass. But Kinito doesn't think so. He has a question. He's done a lot for us so far, and it's only fair that we're sort of indebted to him now, right? At least in his eyes anyway. He wants us to stay with him in the world he created, and asks us if this is what we want too. We can choose to stay or to leave. Alright, I'ma head out.
What? What do you mean, no? After all we have been through, you would want to leave. Do you realize how little power you have in this situation? It was never a question. I just wanted to give you an easy option. I suppose it's time.
Ah, shit. Looks like we're imprisoned forever, boys. Time to pack it up. Well, now that KinitoPET is wrapped up, what are my thoughts on this segment? I thought this one was pretty good. The monitor thing was definitely new, even if it was inconvenient. This section made a lot more sense than the last one, and was far better structured. What I don't really understand is how exactly we got spirited into a game just because our desktop pet had admin privileges. If that was real life, I'd have been kidnapped by Genshin Impact back in college at least 3 times by now. But that's just a nitpick, we'll call it game logic. Overall, it was a good closing to KinitoPET's standard ending. Yeah, I said standard ending because we're actually not done yet. Pull us. And we can rewind time back to before we ever met the little parasite. This time being greeted by 2 new applications, Lens.exe and Chapter Select. The second is self-explanatory. It lets us jump to any checkpoint in the game to replay sections. However, the first is the most important. Opening it and moving it around the screen, we can reveal a hidden file on our desktop that triggers the reception of a new email telling us that we're going to need to find more of these files in order to stop Kinito for good. There are 5 in total, so thus begins a scavenger hunt. A file called Credentials is in the middle of the desktop. A file called Password is within the chapter Meet Kinito around the left of the screen. A file called Server is within the chapter Web World. A file called Access is within the chapter Feedback Hub around the top of the screen. These are the files we can get through normal means. During our hunt, we also receive an email telling us what to do to decrypt the files. For the last file, according to the email, we must go to the Web World once again and click on the fountain until an animation plays, and then we must click on the rope hanging from a hidden tree to enter the Lost Web World. It is here that we can attain the 5th file and decrypt our files by dropping them into the fountain one by one until we possess all the information needed to use the command delete all when Kinito asks us for admin privileges. All that's left to do is to head on over to the chapter Permission Granted and let him walk right into his own trap.
Wait, so what have you done? What is happening to me? You're deleting my data. Why? Shut it off. I only ever do what you asked me. I just wanted clarifications.
That's all I have ever wanted. I'm so sorry.
Good. Bye. Friend.
And thus, every server he has ensnared is free. KinitoPET is no more, and it can never harm anyone else ever again. And also we set the computer on fire for good measure. So that's really it for the main gameplay of KinitoPET. If you choose to stay with Kinito for the last ending, it will play out very similarly to the leave ending, just without him getting upset with you, so we won't cover that. There's one more thing about this game to go over though, and that's the Easter eggs. KinitoPET's New Game Plus mode, aka the one where you can select chapters, has several unique scares that can trigger when booting the game or doing certain other things. Not all of these have story relevance, but some do. We'll go over these in quick succession before we delve into trying to put the story together. Please note that I'm basing this on my own experience with the game and what I've watched others get, so I might have missed a scare or two. When entering the web world, there's a chance that it will be completely red. Functionality remains the same. When playing hide and seek, there's a chance for Sam to hide in the maze with you. He'll also change the application name to try to remember who you are. There's a chance to actually encounter Sam in the maze as well. I think it may be guaranteed if you saw him hide. When booting the game, there's a chance the welcome screen will be red with a smiley face. When booting the game, there's a chance to get an inescapable scream of only Sam hanging from the top left. When checking character descriptions on Web World, they can be replaced with a string of "Where am I?" Changing your computer date to 1993, 1996, and 1998 will show a plush, a Tamagotchi, and a broken version of the same Tamagotchi. These are accompanied with the application name changing to any one of the following quotes. When looking in your personalized room, you can exit through the wall to see a smiley face looking in from outside and Jade sticking out of the wall. Jade will disappear if you stop looking at her. Sam has a chance to appear in the fun fair, hanging once again. And there is a chance for the icon on the startup screen to be replaced with a picture of a hanging man. That's all the secret scares in-game that I know of. We need to go elsewhere for the others. On the KinitoPET website, we can type the following things at the end of the URL. who_am_I, ipanalamvano, data, email, I'm sorry, games, web_world 404, and keyboard, which we saw before, to find more stuff. There are also 2 unlisted YouTube videos with ciphers in the captions and descriptions, one featuring a door with music, with the other featuring a censored paper lying on a table. I won't play these in their entirety, but we will use their contents in piecing the story together. Alright, we've got our data, so here we go. Keep in mind this is only my interpretation of the story. You are welcome to draw your own conclusions. Kinito and his friends began their metaphorical life as plushies released around 1993, later receiving Tamagotchis around 1996. Created by Sonny Chamberlain, these Tamagotchis were made with a new technology dubbed the RRA, aka the React Respond algorithm, meant to simulate intelligence without actually containing a sentient being within a device. This technology was later used to create KinitoPET, a desktop assistant who is made to learn and adapt to you for as long as it possibly can. There was seemingly no limit put on this, so when Kinito was released, it went south quickly as the AI seemed to rapidly become obsessive over learning to the point where it bordered on stalking.
May I search through your browser history? Oh my god.
Evidence of this can be found in the earlier secret with Sam brightening the screen reveals hidden text, revealing the following, presumably written by Kinito. I wonder how this one will do. I wonder how they will react. All data is necessary. Understand how they work. Understand what scares them. Understand what works. It is all so logical. I will follow my orders. 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 On the website Who Am I, we can also see the decoded cipher, presumably from Sonny, reading, all it wants to do is learn. It's never just a game. He will learn your reaction time, learn your accuracy, learn your patterns, your friends, how they act. He will learn so much. He can mimic your every move, simulate your every word. Eventually, Kinito somehow began either trapping or killing its consumers, possibly even both. His story at the beginning of the game insinuates that upon being brought to life as a computer program, after spending so long as a keychain, Kinito became so excited to execute his one directive, to learn and to do nothing else, that he became stuck in a vicious cycle, always finding new people, learning, trapping them, and going on repeat, never being able to fulfill his prime directive, and therefore stuck doing it forever in a more and more unfortunate mental state. Refer to the Seeker of Hide and Seek, and dancing with creating his own worlds forever and always. We can assume that the AIs present in the web world, both Sam and Jade, are victims of Kinito forced to take residence in the minds of cartoon sea life. We can tell by how they act around him, visibly eyeing him with discomfort as he stands to the side, asking you questions about their existence in moments of desperation, with Sam unsure if he's even alive anymore and Jade reaching out to you only to be stopped moments before escape. During KinitoPET's initial rampage, Sonny seemingly experienced intense guilt and fear at what he had created, spiraling out of control before eventually, well, committing the Sudoku via a, upside-down lasso? Look, YouTube, what do you want me to say here? We can assume this based on one of the unlisted videos where notes can be heard playing in the background, and when put into a music program such as FL Studio, these translate to keyboard inputs that spell out, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's implied that after death, Sunny ended up stuck with Kinito as an AI whether or not he knew it. On the Ipanalamvano website, we hear from who's likely Sunny, unsure of the nature of his new existence. It kept getting smarter, day by day. I suppose it only ever did what it was asked to learn. What even am I? Featured in Sam's minigames are constant themes of death, rope, and of course the Easter egg from earlier. And Sam seems to always be accompanying mentions of needing to remember who or where he is. He is also shown next to extreme depictions of guilt, and from these depictions, it could be theorized that Sunny's mind lives on inside of Sam. Perhaps the second paragraph of the email from before coins Sunny as the digital specter, as on the email website, we can see confirmation that Sunny is dead, even with his leftover AI not having known this yet, querying, "If I am dead, then who am I?" Sunny's stuck thinking he's a digital sea anemone while knowing something is wrong but not what that something is. He only begins to realize that he must break free of this cycle when you come along. We can theorize, especially because of the question of, would you know if you were no longer alive? That it's Sunny breaking through to talk to us when we're subjected to the creepy feedback hub. He warns us not to trust everything that a friend says. Through playing with Kinito, you wake Sunny up, and together you're able to stop what he created, even if it was not without loss. I think that's it for this video. Thanks for showing up and sticking with me through my first ever long-form video project. I'm hoping to put out more of these in the future. I've always loved to analyze stuff, so doing it for any audience just scratches my brain just right, you know? I couldn't have made this video without help from the official KinitoPET Discord server's findings and the convenient PowerPoint they put together. So thank you to them for that. Thank you to everyone who showed up for my original stream of the game too, and to my real best friend Austin, who does show up in-game as Funny Man, for hanging out with me while I replayed the game to get clean footage of this video. And before I go, I apologize to any of my Steam friends who may or may not get friend requests because of my silly axolotl video. Consider subscribing if you like what you've heard, drop in a like too, I really appreciate any start I can get. Anyway, this has been Glamrock Dusky. See you later, and have a phasorific day!